Hi everyone, I'm Prince B and welcome to my channel. Here I do discussions on video games, anime, manga, the occasional piece of literature, and just give them a review. Instead of your typical review style, I do something called a storybook review, where everything's done in the style of a story, like a picture book. And this is because I just really love the idea of storybooks and everything. So I thought it'd be a fun way to look at things like video games and so on. And instead of a traditional rating scale with a 1 out of 10 or what have you, I do a rating scale based on the idea of the storybook, with only 3 possible ratings. 1, the happy ending, means that it's the good rating. It means that I liked it and it's worth looking at, it's worth your time. The neutral ending is, well, just that, it's neutral. It means I didn't really care one way or the other, I don't have any real strong opinions on the item in question, and it's one of those, well, maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, it's more subjective. And lastly, the tragic ending, which means that I didn't enjoy it at all. I really don't think it's worth your time, and I wouldn't recommend it to a friend, basically. So, with that out of the way, let's get started on my first review. Now, for my first review, I wanted to do something really fun and something really cute because, I mean, who doesn't love fun and who doesn't love cute things? So I was thinking, among Nintendo, which mascot is the cutest? Some would say Pikachu. Well, I love the guy. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, but Pikachu's not the cutest. No. The cutest Nintendo mascot, in my personal opinion, would definitely have to be Kirby. I mean, look at him. He's so simply designed. He's cute, he's pink, and he's just an adorable little pink puffball. And for my first review, since I wanted to do something with Kirby, I thought I'd choose a really adorable and fun game from the franchise, which would be Kirby's Epic Yarn for the Nintendo Wii. And I actually got this as a birthday gift from my younger brother, so it has a little bit of a special place for me, which we'll discuss. We'll go over the game and, let's get started with the first review. Let's start this story. Chapter 1. Story and Characters. Kirby's Epic Yarn is a game on the Wii, released in 2010 in Japan and North America, and 2011 in Europe. It follows the journey of Kirby in Patchland, a magical world made of fabric, connected to Dreamland via a magic sock. Kirby is trapped in Patchland by the evil sorcerer Yin Yarn. Here he meets Prince Fluff, who, while never directly stated to be, is the implied ruler of Patchland. Together, the two set off to find the magic yarn that Yin Yarn stole, and stitch Patchland back together. Speaking of Prince Fluff, it must be pretty terrible to find out that your world is existing in or connected to a sock of all things. I'd be fine if the world was in this book, but the Prince of Socks? Yuck. Anyways, as the story progresses, Yin Yarn plots to take over and yarnify Kirby's homeworld of Dreamland, which he admits he has no idea what he's going to do with. Right here is one of the few problems I have with the game. The story is super simple, what with it being aimed more at a younger audience, and that's fine, I can understand that. But can't the main villain have a bit more motivation? A grander plan? It's not a big deal, just a minor detail, but some form of motivation to be evil or backstory on the main villain could have really helped motivate the player, giving them that extra push to really want to combat this guy, rather than having the villain going, oh well, I'm going to do it for the evils. Chapter 2. Graphics and Audio. Graphically, the game is presented in a very stylized manner, which can be a turnoff for some people who don't really enjoy or get into the very cutesy vibe of this. But I personally found it to be really fun to play through, and a major draw for the game. The cutscenes are portrayed as if it were a storybook, much like this review, with paper cutouts of characters and objects for the various sections in Dreamland, while Patchland sections and the game itself is made of yarn, felt, buttons, and various other fabrics and fabric-related items. Every fiber of Patchland is super detailed. See what I did there? Fiber? Everything, it's all made of yarn? Oh, forget it. Anyways, as I was saying, everything from the cloth to the yarn is super detailed. You can see everything from fiber strands, threads, and the stitching that holds all the environments together. Realistic looking cotton makes up the clouds, and everything's just really visually appealing. So much so that even if it doesn't fit your preferred art style, you have to admit that a lot of detail went into everything. You even determine how hurt a boss is by how frayed their yarn is. Animation is all smooth, and detail was even put into Kirby's idle animations, which are super adorable, from jumping rope to falling asleep. It's easy to see that a lot of time, energy, and passion went into the game's graphics. Similarly, the audio is also great, from the narrator in the cutscenes to Kirby's joyful babble when you turn on the game, and of course the music. Here we get a variety of fun and beautiful instrumental arrangements with new pieces, as well as versions of classic Kirby songs that you already know and love, like DDD's theme and the ever-famous Gourmet Race, redone to fit the other tracks in the epic yarn style. With presentation of visuals and audio out of the way, it's finally time to move on to the gameplay. Chapter 3. Gameplay. Behind its fabric-themed graphics, Epic Yarn is your standard platformer. You can go left, right, up, or down. Despite that, it's not a typical Kirby game. Being made of yarn, Kirby loses access to his standard abilities, such as flying and inhaling enemies, as the air passes through his new yarn body. By extension, since he can't inhale his enemies, he can't copy their powers. So, if he can't inhale and he can't copy, how does Kirby fight? Well, he has a yarn whip. Kirby cracks a whip which can pull pieces of the environment to reveal secrets or move platforms. The whip also lets Kirby unravel foes or bundle them up into a ball to throw at other enemies. He can also turn into a car to move faster, jump, or while in the air either turn into a parachute to glide to safety or a weight to crush enemies and blocks. All these controls feel tight, and you need to master them as you explore the various levels, which, while fairly linear in the sense that they require you to go from point A to point B, also have plenty of small diversions which lead to unlockable furniture, music, and beads, which are the game's currency. There are also segments where you get to transform into various things such as a yarn tank, car, dolphin, or even a UFO, to name a few. Here the controls are a bit less tight on some, and others rely more on gimmicks such as pointing the Wii Remote at the screen to draw train tracks, or tilting the Wii Remote up or down to aim water or missiles. My biggest problem here comes from the UFO, which felt really floaty and hard to control. Despite that, nothing's too hard to do, and these parts, along with various secrets that you can explore within each level, mix up the gameplay, preventing things from getting stale and are fun overall. I also forgot to mention that a second player can join in by having an additional Wii Remote, and they play as Prince Fluff. With two players, the game gets even easier than it already is, and you can use each other as projectiles or jump on each other to reach ledges. It also allows you to share the experience with a friend or sibling, and having the option is definitely welcome. The fact that it makes the game easier is largely unnecessary. In fact, a commonly cited problem people have with this game is that it's too easy, as you can't actually die. Getting hurt by enemies or falling off screen doesn't kill you, but rather just knocks you back and causes you to lose beads. With that said, the platforming does become harder as the game goes on, and it becomes harder to get out of a level with enough beads to unlock the stage's gold medal ranking, and the extra optional levels that you get by defeating a boss with a certain number of beads. But herein lies the beauty of the fact that you can't die. For younger players, or those who just want to beat the stages quickly, you can rush through with no real penalty. Whereas those who want to explore and get lots of beads and hidden collectibles, or those who want more of a challenge, you can play bearing in mind the fact that you risk losing your beads, and that getting a gold medal in all stages can be very difficult.
Thus, you can play at your own pace, deciding if you want to explore or rush things, if you want an easy game or a hard one. In the end, it's up to you. Lastly, there are plenty of cool mini-games like hide and seek or races that you can test yourself with, as well as an apartment where you can display the furniture you find in the levels and buy with your beads, almost like a display case where you get to show off all the cool things you find in your adventures. So even after the main game, there's plenty of stuff to do. Final chapter, Verdict. Kirby's Epic Yarn is, well, truly epic. With gorgeous visuals and great music, controls that are for the most part pretty tight. There's so much this game does well. Some parts of the transformation sequences can feel a bit wonky, and the villain isn't the most fleshed out, but the good far outweighs the bad. No matter your age, you can get a lot of enjoyment from this game, and its happy atmosphere can bring a smile to all but the most grumpy of faces. Kirby's Epic Yarn receives a happy ending.
Kirby's Epic Yarn is the kind of game that just feels really good to play. It puts a smile on your face. And if you're having a day where you feel like you just can't win, play Kirby's Epic Yarn. Put it in your Wii and go nuts. I mean, there's nothing you don't have anything to lose. Literally. You can't lose. You can't lose.
Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, throw it a like. And if you want to stay updated on the videos I'll be releasing in the future, go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you want, you can also check out another video I'm doing on a separate channel where I'm doing a Pokemon Black Nuzlocke. Until next time, this is Prince B. Farewell.